Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. Leave them alone and they'll come home. Wagging their tails behind them. This one has a big tail. Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow. The cow is in the corn. And where is the boy who looks after the sheep? He's under the haystack, fast asleep. Will you wake him? No, not I. For if I do, he's sure to cry. There's a neat little clock. In the schoolroom it stands, and it points to the time with its two little hands. And may we, like the clock, keep a face clean and bright, with hands ever ready to do what is right. Tweedledum and Tweedledee resolved to have a battle. For Tweedledum, said Tweedledee, had spoiled his nice new rattle. Just then flew by a monstrous crow, as big as a tar barrel. Which frightened both the heroes so they quite forgot their quarrel. Patty cake, patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it and prick it and mark it with B. And put it in the oven for baby and me. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack, jump over the candlestick. Look at him go. "30 days hath September, April, June, and November. February has 28 alone. All the rest have 31. Excepting leap year, that's the time when February's days are 29. A swarm of bees in May is worth a load of hay. A swarm of bees in June is worth a silver spoon. A swarm of bees in July is not worth a fly. Poor little fly. Girls and boys, come out to play. The moon doth shine as bright as day. Leave your supper and leave your sleep and come with your playfellows out in the street. Come with a whoop. Come with a call. Come with a goodwill or none at all. Up a ladder and down a wall. A halfpenny roll will serve us all. You find milk and I'll find flour, and we'll have pudding in half an hour. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. If turnips were watches, I'd wear one by my side. To market, to buy a fat pig. Home again, jiggity jig. To market, to buy a fat hog. Home again, jiggity jog. To market, to buy a plum bun. Home again, market is done. He looks happy with his pig. If I had as much money as I could spend, I never would cry, old chairs to mend. Old chairs to mend, old chairs to mend. I never would cry, old chairs to mend. If I'd as much money as I could tell, I never would cry, old clothes to sell. Old clothes to sell, old clothes to sell. I never would cry, old clothes to sell. I had a little hen, the prettiest ever seen. She washed me the dishes and kept the house clean. She went to the mill to fetch me some flour. She brought it home in less than an hour. She baked me my bread. She brewed me my ale. She sat by the fire and told many a fine tale. There were two birds sat on a stone. Ba-la-la-la-la-dee. One flew away, and then there was one. Fa-la-la-la-la-dee. The other bird flew after, and then there was none. Fa-la-la-la-la-dee. And so the stone was left alone. Fa-la-la-la-la-dee. That's a sad stone. Leg over leg, as the dog went to Dover. When he came to a stile, hop! He jumped over. Look at this dog go. It's kind of floating right now. Barber, barber, shave a pig. How many hairs will make a wig? 24. That's enough. Give that barber a pinch of snuff. Dickory, dickory, dare, the pig flew up in the air. The man in brown soon brought him down. Hickory, dickory, dare. Hush-a-bye, baby, in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. Pussycat, pussycat, where have you been?
I've been to London to look at the Queen.
Pussycat, pussycat, what did you there?
I frightened a little mouse under her chair.
Here's the mouse. You look frightened? Mr. East gave a feast. Mr. North laid the cloth. Mr. West did his best. Mr. South burnt his mouth. Eating cold potato. There was a man in our town, and he was wondrous wise. He jumped into a bramble bush and scratched out both his eyes. But when he saw his eyes were out, with all his might and main, he jumped into another bush and scratched them in again. Does that look like a bush? It's more like a haystack. Georgie Porgy, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. That's quite a kisser he has. Looks like a beak. For every evil under the sun, there is a remedy, or there is none. If there be one, seek till you find it. If there be none, never mind it. They have skinny girls at this school with square feet. Cushy cow bonny, let down thy milk, and I will give thee a gown of silk. A gown of silk and a silver tea, if thou wilt let down thy milk to me. Three blind mice, see how they run, see how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife, who cut off their tails with a carving knife. Ouch! Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as three blind mice? Three blind mice. This one has a short tail, but his legs are really long. Isn't that crazy? There's a table there. And look, he found a cheese. Here's a fun game. This little pig went to market. Does that look like a pig? And this little pig stayed home. This little pig had roast beef. And this little pig had none. And this little pig cried wee, 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 all the way home. Does that look like your foot? Dr. Foster went to Gloucester in a shower of rain. Give him a nice hat to wear in the rain. He stepped in a puddle right up to his middle and never went there again. This is his medical bag. Diddle diddle dumpling, my son John went to bed with his trousers on, one shoe off and one shoe on. Diddle diddle dumpling, my son John. He must have been tired. I don't know how you could sleep on such a square bed. At least he had a pillow for his head. There's his shoe on the floor. Jerry Hall, he was so small, a rat could eat him, hat and all. He was so small he had no nose, and wore a glove for all his clothes. I made that up. Hickety pickety, my black hen, she lays eggs for gentlemen. Gentlemen come every day to see what my black hen doth lay. Little Nanny Etticoat in a white petticoat and a red nose. The longer she stands, the shorter she grows. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Here's the spider. Does he look scary? No one really knows what a tuffet is. I tried ordering one on eBay. It didn't work. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Poor Humpty. Always be careful when you are an egg. A box without hinges, key or lid, yet inside golden treasure is hid. One, two, three, four, five. I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I threw him back again. Why did you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which finger did he bite? This little finger on the right. See. Goosey, goosey, gander, whither shall I wander? Upstairs and downstairs and in my lady's chamber. There I met an old man who would not say his prayers. So I took him by the left leg and threw him down the stairs. Jack Sprat could eat no fat. His wife could eat no lean. And so between the two of them, they licked the platter clean. All the food is gone. There's her little feet. Nancy Dawson was so fine, she wouldn't get up to feed the swine, but laid in bed till 8 or 9. Lazy Nancy Dawson. Do you lay in bed till 8 or 9? You probably don't have swine. Those are pigs. Here's her bed. She looks pretty happy. Handy Pandy, Jack-a-dandy, loves plum cake and sugar candy. He bought some at a grocer's shop, and out he came. Hop, hop, hop. He's hopping pretty high. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown. And Jill came tumbling after. Then up Jack got, and off did trot, as fast as he could caper, to old Dame Dob, who patched his knob with vinegar and brown paper. Dame Dob lives way over there. He just has to follow the sign. One misty, moisty morning, when cloudy was the weather, I met a little old man, clothed all in leather. He began to compliment and I began to grin. How do you do, how do you do, and how do you do again? He has a big nose. And it's raining. "30 white horses upon a red hill. Now they tramp, now they champ, and now they stand still." You know what that is? It's your teeth. "Baba, black sheep, have you any wool?" Yes, sir, 3 bags full. "One for the master, one for the dame, and one for the little girl who lives down the lane." "Baba, black sheep, have you any wool?" Yes, sir, 3 bags full. Now, these bags are empty. Do you know why? Because the wool is still on the sheep. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle the cow jumped over the moon. cow now. There she goes. The little dog laughed to see such sport. He looked happy. And the dish ran away with the spoon. There goes the dish. And there goes the spoon. I like little pussy, her coat is so warm. And if I don't hurt her, she'll do me no harm. So I'll not pull her tail, nor drive her away. But pussy and I very gently will play. Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 24 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was opened, the birds began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty dish to set before the king? The king was in his counting house, counting out his money. The queen was in the parlor, eating bread and honey. The maid was in the garden, hanging out the clothes. When down came a blackbird and pecked off her nose. I saw a ship a-sailing, sailing on the sea. And oh, it was all laden with pretty things for thee. There were comfits in the cabin and apples in the hold. The sails were made of silk and the masts were made of gold. The 24 sailors that stood between the decks were 24 white mice with chains around their necks. The captain was a duck with a packet on his back. And when the ship began to move, the captain said, "Quack, quack." Bat, bat, come under my hat. I'll give you a slice of bacon. And when I bake, I'll give you a cake, if I'm not mistaken. Which would you rather have? Cake or some bacon? In a cottage in Fife lived a man and his wife, who, believe me, were comical folk. They both saw with their eyes, for to people's surprise, and their tongues moved whenever they spoke. When they were asleep, I'm told that to keep their eyes open they could not contrive. They both walked on their feet, and 'twas thought what they eat helped with drinking to keep them alive. Well, that sounds pretty funny. Cock-a-doodle-doo, my dame has lost her shoe. My master's lost his fiddlestick, and knows not what to do. Cock-a-doodle-doo, what is my dame to do? Till master finds his fiddlestick, she'll dance without her shoe. There once were two cats of Kilkenny, and each thought there was one cat too many. So they fought and they fit, and they scratched and they bit, till instead of two cats there weren't any. They look kind of scary. And they went till they were all gone. Hector Protector was dressed all in green. Hector Protector was sent to the Queen. The Queen did not like him. No more did the King. So Hector Protector was sent home again. The man in the moon looked out of the moon, looked out of the moon and said, "'Tis time for all the children on earth to think about getting to bed." Peas porridge hot, peas porridge cold, peas porridge in the pot, 9 days old. Some like it hot, some like it cold, some like it in the pot, 9 days old. There was a crooked man, and he walked a crooked mile. He found a crooked sixpence against a crooked stile. He bought a crooked cat, it caught a crooked mouse, and they all lived together in a little crooked house. Can you open that door? Little girl, where have you been?
I've been to London to visit the Queen.
Little girl, what gave she you?
She gave me a diamond as big as my shoe.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole the tarts and took them clean away. The King of Hearts called for the tarts and beat the knave full sore. The knave of hearts brought back the tarts and vowed he'd steal no more. You like tarts? There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread. She whipped them all soundly and sent them to bed. She might have only had 3 children. I don't know. There's probably some hiding behind the shoe. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1. The mouse ran down. Hickory dickory dock. That looked like a mouse. Hickory dickory do. The mouse went in my shoe. The cat named Clout soon chased him out. Dickory dickory do. Do you have a clock like this? Hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 penny, hot cross buns. If you have no daughters, give them to your sons. 1 a penny, 2 penny, hot cross buns. They must be pretty small buns if you can buy them for a penny.